Hello, my name's Tina McDonald. Today I thought it might be helpful if we talked about online counselling and how it differs from face to face when we're in the same room together, and look at some of the benefits and some of the things that might hold you back from looking at online counselling as a viable option for you. During the pandemic, all of my work has been online, and I counsel UK-wide. So I've done probably more online counselling than I did before. However, before the pandemic, I also worked with people that were countrywide, not just in Scotland where I'm based. And so for me, online counselling is something that has opened opportunities for myself as a counsellor to work with people I otherwise might not have the pleasure of working with, and for other people to have access to somebody that they feel is the right counsellor for them. It also gives you the chance to work with somebody who you're not going to bump into in the local shops, or you're not going to go to a dance and perhaps meet them with partners. All of those things are considerations, not for everybody, but for some people. And after the pandemic, when it ends, whenever that might be, I also intend to probably continue to do most of my work online. So let's have a little look at some of the things that people might think are a minus or a drawback to online counselling. I hear people who have not been involved in it say it's not the same. I think as human beings, everything is not the same at the moment. And it's not a case of it'll do, it's a case of this is something different and we have to adapt and we have to adjust how we feel about things. And that's not necessarily always a bad thing. And so for me, it's not the same. Our sessions would never be the same from one to the other. Our sessions would never be the same if we had to change from one room to the other when we were counselling in a room together. Lots of things can make a session not the same. But that's not to say it's always a negative thing. There is no relational depth because we're not in the same room together. People run marriages in different countries. People work with people that they've never met except for online, and they feel as though they are day-to-day colleagues. I would have to say I feel relational depth with my clients, whether we're face-to-face or not, because we're talking about your life, about the things it's bringing you to counselling. And whether you're sitting opposite me on a couch or whether we're sitting right now, it doesn't matter to me. You're the person that I am counselling and I am there for. And I would like to think, that the counselling conversations, you get a sense of who I am and that I am actually talking to you right now, listening to this video, because that's how it's intended. And I think the mindset that you bring to online counselling of we are going to build a relational two-way flow between us, a collaborative relationship in counselling, is very important. I'm rubbish with technology. Well, yeah, okay, that again is another minus, but it's not insurmountable. It's not something that we can't work out together. And where that very much is an actual minus of online counselling, you need to be able to find a space, a corner of a bedroom, outside in your car if your internet connection is good enough. I've done lots of counselling with people all over the country sitting in cars. And so there are ways around it. The same way it would be if you wanted to talk a loved one who was working away, that you would find a way to speak to them in private. So the pluses: easy access. It means that you don't have to worry about the logistics of getting to me. It means that, again, if you feel you want to work with me, we can do so regardless of where you are. Lots of people find that online counselling opens up the space and the opportunity for them to be able to fit it into a busy life. So I often see people online, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, so that we do a session and then they go to work. Or they come home at night, they might be always late on a Thursday, but that's the only time that the house is empty. So I meet them online at 7, 8 o'clock at night. So it opens up easy access. It also means we don't have to only be confined to a building that I'm hiring a room from, or that it's a room that you have to be able to be within driving distance. Whether it's bad weather, whether it's public transport, and it fits in with our times, all of those things are gone. We can fit it in to your life, and then that's a regular space that we go to. Or if you work shifts, we have the flexibility of not being tied to rooms, but being tied to your life, and we fit you in on around the diary at whatever time suits you. And so it also means that if you have anxiety, you don't have to worry about travelling, because they're sitting relaxed in their own home with a coffee. They want to have a cigarette, they're in their own home. So all of those things make a difference. And if you're shielding, or if you're unwell enough to get on public transport, or you're unwell enough to drive to see me, I don't care if you're going to be sitting, in your jammies or in a comfy top or whatever, because it's about us meeting together online for counselling. And so it takes out a lot of the pressure. A lot of the way that we work together opens up the possibilities of you being able to concentrate on what we're doing rather than where we are. The logistics of Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, all of those things, I always send out a help sheet before we work together, and it talks through, the background noise, have you got, privacy, all of those things. I often counsel, just with Classic FM, wanting in the background to reassure you that noise level is reduced. I also use earphones so that, again, anything you say is only heard by me. Do I feel that online counselling is second best? Absolutely not. I have to say, hand on heart, that I don't. I worked before the pandemic this way. During the pandemic, it has been an absolute godsend for myself and my clients. After the pandemic, why would I not continue offering this flexibility and this means to access to people all over the country? Because otherwise I only work with people within driving distance. And I think that's a great shame. I've really enjoyed working with people from the whole length of the country, and it's been a brilliant experience that I intend to continue with. I think in this time of a pandemic, we have to get used to thinking out of a box. And for me, I think that's really beneficial. And it's taken away barriers to lots of things with counselling for me that perhaps I might not have really expanded on before the pandemic, but I absolutely will moving forward in whatever form we can work. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope it's taken out a little bit of the concerns of working online and how it actually is. You're online now, you're looking at a video on YouTube, and so working together just means that you're on the other end at the same time as me. I hope to meet you there. Take care. Thank you for your time as always. Bye-bye.